Madhu?
Coming!
Madhu!
Yes, Baba, what is it?
I think you should call up this editor and fire him.
Kya ki holo?
যাচ্ছে তাই ছাপে যারা যা ইচ্ছে। They say that you have cut off funding to Dakshineshwar. Look at this.
This isn't a false report, Baba. I asked them to put in that announcement.
No. I don't believe this. This is not possible. Have you really cut off their fundings?
Baba, the market is very low and funds are really tight. I can't afford to go on helping Dakshineshwar anymore. It's about time they learn to help themselves.
But they have to be able to, Madhu.
Well, now is when we find out if they can.
No. This is a terrible thing you have done to them.
I don't see that it is. After all, we can't go on helping them forever.
Then what happens to the medical college?
What medical college?
Look, when I went there last time, they had made a proposal for a medical college.
I didn't see anything like that.
I had given it to Chand.
Well, Chand didn't give it to me, and even if he had, it would have been futile because we just cannot afford it.
A multi-crore company cannot afford just 25 lakhs.
Baba, the people of Dakshineshwar have to realize that there are other companies they can approach for help. There are other big houses that will give them sponsorship, and it's about time they did that.
Does that mean Sarkar Holdings is not going to do anything more for society?
We've done more than our fair share.
Oh, then what is our fair share, please?
I'm not going to answer that question. I refuse to be a Raja Harishchandra and give away all my worldly goods.
Hold it, please. Come here. Muthu, I don't think 25 lakhs will amount to all your worldly goods.
This discussion is going nowhere. I've already made up my mind.
Muthu, Pawan.
Pabon. Why does everyone use that name like a weapon? No, he wouldn't have done this had he been here, and no, he wouldn't like it. But he isn't here, and somebody had to make a decision. So I did. Do you think this was easy for me? Do you think I didn't think of any other option? I tried, and only when there wasn't any other option did I make up my mind. And now they want a medical college. Do they think that I've got a money tree growing in my backyard? Or a grove of them, perhaps?
No, I don't think they think so.
Baba, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to shout. It's just that I'm under so much pressure and there's nothing that I can do. I have to go.
I'm afraid there is nothing I can do either.
That didn't go as badly as I thought it would.
That's only because I agreed we couldn't keep funding Dakshineshwar. And that's what they wanted to hear.
But it's not as if they forced you into it. You had already made up your mind earlier.
And you think I was wrong. Baba thinks I was wrong. The people of Dakshineshwar think I'm wrong. And of course, the press thinks I'm wrong.
I didn't say you were wrong.
You don't think that I was wrong?
No. You made a tough decision. Something we all have to do.
But everyone's going to say that I've let Pabon down.
And what, you're trying to play the devil's advocate now? The only answer is, we don't know. And Pavan isn't here, and if
And had he been here, none of this would have been so bad.
I wasn't going to say that. I think you're doing a great job.
That's not what everyone else is saying. They're all blaming me. If she hadn't taken over, the company would still have managed.
Now that's pure crap. Anyone can see that this is not something Sarkar is going through. Everyone's hurting.
Thanks for the vote of confidence. I've just been feeling so low lately. I think I need a dose of Prozac.
Prozac? You're not on that stuff, are you?
No, silly. That's what I call Rahul. Times like these, he gives me a great lift. He's asleep. I should have known. Babies keep their own timings.
And so do corporate lawyers. I must say goodnight.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to keep you so late. I just hadn't noticed the time.
No problem.
And one last thing, Chand. I want you to know that it was very important for me to have had you there today.
Once again, no problem.
Hello.
Hello,
Varsha, how wonderful to hear from you.
I'm Madhulika.
How are you?
I'm fine. This is such a pleasant surprise. How's Akash?
Well, he is so busy these days that I hardly see him. You have to call his secretary to find out how he is. How's, Rahul?
Oh, he's just fine. He's getting bigger and heavier every day. And he's moving around so fast we can hardly keep up with him.
You know, I wish I could see him, and I wish I could be with you. Is it very tough, Madhu?
Managing on my own, you mean? Well, I'm doing all right. It's not as bad as I thought it would be.
But do you have enough time for yourself?
You know, you've got to be the first person who's asked me that question. Everyone else just wants to know if I'm spending enough time with Rahul and looking after him.
Don't blame them, Madhu. They care about you.
I know, but sometimes I just want to scream. No, I'm not all that a mother should be, and I'm not spending enough time with him. But I'm trying, Varsha.
I know you are. Just don't be so harsh on yourself.
You know, I met this woman at a conference, a single mother, and she said, get used to feeling guilty, Madhulika, because you're going to feel this way for the rest of your life.
But Madhu, is this what you want to do? Run this corporate empire?
Well, some people inherit businesses and some people acquire them, and others have it thrust upon them. I guess I fall into the last category.
But you know, I think that you should think about whether this is what you want to do with your life.
Tell me, Varsha, when you quit acting, was it a conscious decision or was it just something that happened to you?
I don't know, Madhu. I don't know. At the time, I thought it was a conscious decision. But now I wonder if we make any decisions for ourselves. You know, if the circumstances were different, if the industry was different, if the kind of films we were making were different, if the roles I was offered were different, maybe I'd be still sweating it out under the arc lights.
Yes, I feel the same way, Varsha. I mean, this isn't the life I would have chosen for myself. But circumstances have chosen it for me, and I'm enjoying some parts of it.
Like what?
Maybe it's the power. There's something heady about knowing that you can make a difference.
And the fame?
Are you talking about that hatchet job in the Inquirer? God, that made me sound like this greedy capitalist and a traitor to Dokhineshwar, an abusive mother, and what have you all rolled into one?
Madhu, I read that and I was absolutely outraged. In fact, I'm thinking of writing a letter to the editor and telling him where he and his writer, who's a muckraker, should just get off.
Forget it, Varsha. I mean, they just do this every week. Today it was me, and next week they'll just find another target.
You know, I am just so surprised that you're taking it so calmly.
You'll learn to ignore it after a while. I mean, that wasn't the first piece of its kind, and it won't be the last.
You know, this is one of the other reasons why I wanted to get out of it. I just was fed up of living my life under a microscope. It does get to you after a while.
Yeah, next time I need some tips on this, I'll call you.
Madhu, I don't know how good I'm going to be giving you tips because all I did was scream. I screamed at the editor, the writer, the publisher, wanted to obliterate them all. In fact, I yelled at everybody in sight.
Oh, then I'll just call to cry on your shoulder.
Madhu, you know you don't have to wait to do that. You can do that anytime. Just call, okay? And Madhu,
Yes?
you take good care of yourself.
I will.
Bye. You take care, Madhu. Take care. You?
Yes, may indeed.
But Akash is not at home.
May I come in?
Sit down.
Now that's what I call Indian hospitality. Yes, Varsha, I would like to have a glass of water. Thank you very much.
I don't know when Akash is going to be back.
And Varsha, what makes you so sure that I haven't come to see you? No, actually, I've come to see Akash, but I think it's best I speak to you.
Why?
That's very rude, Varsha. Wouldn't you sit down first? Look, Varsha, I know you don't trust me, but I think it's about time that you faced facts.
I thought I was.
Now, that's very unkind, Varsha. Varsha, Akash and I are partners. And the sooner you get used to that idea, the better off is Akash, me, and you.
What do you mean?
I mean exactly what I said. Look, just because you don't trust me does not mean you can ignore the fact that Akash and I are partners.
Look, what Akash chooses to do, I can't be concerned with. If he thinks that he can handle business with you, that's his lookout.
It's not. You see, Varsha, I am part of Akash's life. Whether you like it or you don't.
That sounds like a threat.
I'm sorry if it does, but take it any way you want. I cannot stop you from putting interpretation to my words. But just don't cause any trouble between us.
And is there an or else added to that?
Varsha, now that again is open to interpretations. You just remember one thing. I say what I mean, and I mean what I say. I have this file for Akash. And don't worry, this is not threatening. You just take care of yourself.
My Rashagulla. My sweetie pie. Oh, my babusha.
Chichi? Madhu? Is that you? Hi. Chichi, I told you I'd be back at 6. Come, sit down. Now, can I get you a cup of tea or coffee? Oh, thank you for playing hostess in my house.
Come on, Madhu. It's only a social crime to be early. And look at you. You've got this serious FBI face.
I just didn't want you to sit around waiting for me.
But I didn't wait. I entertained myself.
Doing what?
Come here. I have to share a secret. I am having an affair.
What?
Thank you, darling, for not saying at this age. Anyway, don't you want to know who the lucky guy is? Of course you do. It's your little Rahul.
Chichi, is this really you, my glamorous socialite friend?
Champagne Chichi, if you want to know what I was called in the good old days.
And you're in love with Rahul, my baby son who loves to spit formula in your face?
Can you imagine? It's so funny. You know, they would laugh me up and down Shakespeare Sarada if they found out.
Well, it can be our secret.
You know, all those buddies in the club. Oh, she's developed these maternal instincts rather late, hasn't she? First she couldn't get the men, then she couldn't get the boys. So now she's going for the babies. Catch them and train them young.
Mum's the word.
Oh, that's an awful pun. Anyway, Madhu, if you ever need some time by yourself, do let me know. I would love to babysit for your little rogue. And if I may say so myself, he would love to see me.
That's really sweet of you, Chichi, but I couldn't impose on you.
Oh, come on. Of course you can and you must.
I insist, because I am going to impose myself as much as I want. And rest assured, though I may know nothing about babies, but I am willing to learn.
What's that? Gigi, let me see that. The Beginner's Guide to Babies by Dr. Smock. And look what's on the cover. Gigi.
Anyway, now you can go and conquer the world while I look after little Rahul.
You know, that sounds suspiciously like a takeover.
Oh, the baby.
We'd like to thank you, Mrs. Shoka, for giving us the first shot.
First and only shot, Miss Parekh. I don't think I could go through this upheaval again.
Okay, remember, speak to me. Forget the camera. We'll be ready in a minute.
Yeah, you've been saying that for the past 40 minutes.
TV time is virtual time, you know?
You sure this is such a good idea?
You know, I think I might win either way. If they tear me up and throw me to the dogs, maybe I'll get some sympathy. And if they don't, maybe I can convince people that I'm not such a terrible person after all.
Rolling. Okay. So how does it feel, Mrs. Shorkar, to be a grass widow?
Hold on. I thought we'd agreed that the interview would only cover business matters.
No, I'm trying. Anyways, so you've decided to cut off funding to Dakshineshwar, a place your husband had made his own.
That is correct.
So what made you decide to do that?
Well, the market is in bad shape, and like everyone else, we've had to tighten our belts a little. This has meant some deceleration of our aid programs, but I'm sure that these setbacks are only temporary.
But with one stroke, you've destroyed everything that Pawan Shorkar had strived to build. Were he with us, he would have been anguished at the betrayal of his trust.
Now that's not true.
Chand Kaushik is the Executive Director, Corporate Affairs at Shorkar Holdings. He's also been known to express some strong views on the subject. Yes, Mr. Kaushik?
Firstly, nothing that Pawan Sarkar did was so fragile that it could be destroyed in one stroke. Secondly, if Pawan was here, he would never take any decision that would adversely affect the lives of the workers of Sarkar Holdings, and continuing our involvement in Dakshineshwar meant that our workers would suffer.
So now they're out in the cold.
All the work that we've done in Dakshineshwar has never been charity. We've always tried to make it a self-supporting, self-sustaining economy.
And it's not as if we've suspended all activity there. We're simply not handling any new projects. That's all.
But you, Mrs. Shorkar, are being seen as the wicked witch who stopped the good work that Shorkar Holdings was doing. Now, how do you respond to that?
Now that is a very unfortunate attitude. I think it arises out of the inability of the press to see beyond shades of black and white. Either Miss Sarkar is a benevolent philanthropist, or she is a hard-hearted tyrannical despot. There seems to be no via media, no middle path. Mrs. Sarkar and the board worked very hard on this before they came to this decision.
Thank you very much, both of you. Well, I'd like a champion like that. Do you know where I could get one?
And so they said, "Darling, where have you been?" Can you believe it? I didn't know what to say. I almost blushed.
Titi, you're the only person I know who's ashamed of living an innocent life.
Anyway, I told them the truth. I said that I was babysitting.
And what did they say to that?
Of course, they went away delighted because they thought this was a cover-up story that I'd invented. And now they're all talking about my disappearance.
It's so nice to have you here.
Oh, it's wonderful to be here. But then I would have loved it even more if I felt that I was doing it for a good cause.
What does that mean?
Well, I get so angry when I see that you're so young, so beautiful, so much money you have. You know, you should be enjoying life. And there you are, working.
I am enjoying myself. I have my career, I have my friends, and I have Rahul.
Darling, but that's not all life has to offer.
Oh, of course, there are parties, there are discos, there are men who hover solicitously around you pretending to be interested when all they really want to have is a good time.
But of course, darling, they wouldn't be men if they didn't think so. Why do you think they come to parties?
I think you're right.
I am right. I'm always right about such matters. But then there is more to parties, you know.
Oh, I know. There's always the pointless conversation and the horrible noise.
Come on, darling. You sound so middle-aged.
Well, we're all headed there someday.
Not me. Count me out. I am going to go straight from young and beautiful to the tragic ruins of a fantastic beauty and therefore an object of fascination.
That sounds nice.
Anyway, hey, I have a great idea. Why don't we throw a party here?
Chi-Chi.
Come on now, you can't refuse that. You know, my parties are always a hit. I mean, there are all kinds of interesting people that come.
Do you think it's a good idea? I mean, I've just cut off funds to Dokhineshwar.
Come on! We're not throwing a grand ball here. You know, we're just throwing a small private party. And you know, we can also be within earshot of Rahul.
How can I refuse?
Great. Thursday then. Fine. And you know, you can invite that lawyer friend of yours, Chand.
Well, I'll ask him. I don't know if it's his scene, though.
You know, darling, it might be quite easy to persuade him.
One mouthful of sky. So let's make a start.